Hey guys, it's Brant within my head channel, and I'm back for another video. And if it's in my head, it's going to end up in a video. That's just how it is. And I've got Carla here with me again in another video. How are you today?
Not too bad. How are you doing?
I am awesome. I'm excited. I know this is a video that people may take it, they may like it, they may not like it. I found that people kind of get kind of antsy when I start messing with Kiss albums and stuff. So, what we're going to do today is we're going to create what I call the Phantom soundtrack. And the idea behind this is if Kiss had not created solo albums and they instead had focused on doing the Phantom and creating songs for the soundtrack, which we're going to, in our imaginary world, we're going to pull songs off of the solo albums that we think would have been good songs to be soundtrack for the album. We did 10. We could have done more, but I just said we did 10. Um, so the original movie that came on TV, Kiss Meets Fan of the Park, it had a bunch of cheesy like 70s porn, Hanna-Barbera type music in it. I know 70s porn and Hanna-Barbera don't exactly go hand in hand, but hey, it was the 70s. Um, but now the one Attack of the Phantoms that got released in movie theaters in Europe, it actually had songs off of the solo albums featured. And so when we get into it, I'm going to talk about those songs, but we're going to talk about the songs that we would have put in. And we may end up with more than 10 because I'm going to have some, Carla's going to have some. We'll probably end up with more than 10. I doubt we picked all the same songs. And this will end up being a playlist. We're going to call it the Phantom album. It's the album that didn't exist, that doesn't exist, just like a phantom. And so that's what we're going to do in this video. So hang around if you want to, because we're going to get right into it.
Ladies and gentlemen, from Boise, Idaho. Don't touch anything!
All right, so before we get into it, I want to say thank you to if you're a new subscriber, welcome. Hang out, and stick around. I don't know if the algorithm brought you here or a YouTube recommendation brought you here, but we're happy to have you. If you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. Be sure to hit the like, subscribe button, and smash that like and subscribe button, as they say. And tell us what you think down in the comments. Interact in the comments with us. Have a conversation. Good, bad, ugly. We really don't care. Whatever you want to say, you can say it down in the comments. And thanks to everybody who supports the channel at the T Public and at patreon.com/in my head. I try to get faster and faster with the housekeeping stuff, Carla, because people are like, get to the video. So I try to get faster with it. So here we go. Here's my title: Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park, the alternate soundtrack, the Phantom album soundtrack. What if Kiss's 1978 solo albums never happened? Instead, they focused on creating the Phantom, and they focused on creating a collective album that doubled as the soundtrack for their cult classic film, Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park. Now, what I'm saying when we say we put these songs on here, it's like maybe not 100% in the version that they would have been. This has been like if Kiss had made an album and like if we put Radioactive on here, Kiss would have made Radioactive. But we also know at this point in time, a lot of Kiss members were doing their own thing. Like Gene was making his own songs. Ace was definitely recording his own songs. Paul was recording his own songs. So they could have made where they just kind of went off and like, hey, we're going to make our own songs, but we're going to put them all together on an album. So in this video, we're gonna explore the alternate reality, the Phantom reality, where Kiss's unified album perfectly matches the movie's wild sci-fi cheesy rock and roll energy. Come on, I mean it's the good cheese.
Yeah.
It's like queso cheese at your favorite Mexican restaurant. It is the
Mm.
thick mozzarella cheese on your favorite pizza. just whatever, cheese. But imagine if Gene, Paul, Ace, and Peter battling evil animatronics at Magic Mountain while these tracks blast in the background. Now that does happen on the Kiss meets Attack, Kiss and the Attack of the Phantoms. But with this alternate soundtrack that we're going to come up with, made it even more legendary. We want you to drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's attempt to rewrite KISStory and imagine a Kiss movie with a perfect Phantom soundtrack. So that's the introduction. Before we get started on picking our 10 songs, I will go ahead and note that the movie Kiss and the Attack of the Phantoms, the European version of Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park, features a mix of Kiss songs from not only from solo albums, but from other albums as well. And we wanted to keep it just strictly from the solo albums. But they used Radioactive, New York Groove, Hooked on Rock and Roll, Hold Me, Touch Me. Those are all solo albums, but they also used Almost Human. They used Man of a Thousand Faces. That's kind of Sugar Papa likes. Love in Chains, Fractured Mirror, Easy Thing, Mr. Make Believe. And so they did, throw in a song. And of course, we're not talking about the songs like they do Rock and Roll All Night at the beginning and the songs that they perform live. I think what had been really cool, and this is just, I wanted your thought on all this before we get started. Wouldn't have been cool if it would have been a double record, right? If it had been a double record, and one record would have been these songs that would have been collected and made soundtrack songs that came off of the material that they had that became the solo albums, because they didn't do this. Mm-hmm. And the other album was a live album from the live recordings of the concerts they did at Magic Mountain.
Ooh, yeah. That would have been really cool. Yeah.
It'd been really cool. So you'd have a live album and a studio album.
Yeah.
Kind of expanding on what they did with the live too. And this would have been in between. This would have in the catalog would have fell in between Double Platinum and Dynasty.
Yeah.
So the solo albums wouldn't have existed. So you just had these songs.
Yeah, and it would have been cool because the album artwork, I can imagine, would have been really fun. And then, like Love Gun, you get like the Love Gun insert, and it would have been cool for Phantom to have like a ticket insert or something along, something like that. And then you had the possibility of a box set in the future. Like, yeah, it would have been really cool to have a vinyl release for this soundtrack.
Yeah. Been really cool. The merch they could have put in it, they could have put in the ticket. They could have had a booklet in there that had production shots and behind the production shots and all kinds of other. And of course, they'd had a poster in there. It'd been real cool having a Phantom poster or something.
Yeah,
a big, huge poster of them sitting up on them chairs by the pool in those cloaks. Yes, that would have been awesome.
Yes.
So we're going to imagine this as if they only used songs from the 1978 solo albums. So our playlist that we're going to put on Spotify, that the link will be in the description, is probably going to be more than 10 songs. And that's okay, because I'm actually hoping that me and Carla, because the soundtrack, I went and I watched Phantom. I actually watched the Attack of the Phantoms today, and there's more than 10 songs in there. I think there ended up being, aside from Rock and Roll All Night and the concert songs, but songs that just happened in the background while stuff was going on, there was about 14 songs. So, and we're only making each a 10. So hopefully we won't double pick on everything, and we end up with around 15 tracks. And I don't know if Carla did it. I didn't tell her to do this, but since I watched the movie today, I kind of went, I would use this song to replace this song. And I know Carla probably didn't do that because I didn't give her that assignment. So, so Carla's probably just picking songs that she would have been like, man, this would have been great to be in Phantom, So, but me being the overachiever that I am, and since I watched the movie today and listened to it today, I've been like, oh man, that song, that song they've got there, that's good. I'm going to keep that there. And like, oh no, that song's lame, because they've got like Hold Me, Touch Me in it. And it's like, Sorry, Rick. But
Yeah.
it's like I say all the time, the best part about Hold Me Touch Me is the end. Where Paul does that nice little solo at the end of it, which is actually amazing. I listen to that song to this day, just so I can hear that solo. It kind of reminds me of that commercial he did about the best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup. It kind of
Yeah.
has that same feeling. But anyway, I digress. So we're going to get into our list. We'll keep this under an hour, and it shouldn't be too long because we're only talking about 10 songs each. So I'm going to let you go first, and I want you to once again keep track of our doubles.
Yes. And I did a mix of songs that are already featured in the film, and then songs that are not.
Okay.
Just kind of a good mix.
I did too.
And I just really focused on just kind of the songs that I really like off the solo album. Some are very well known, some not so much, but I think they'd all be good. So at number one, probably my never mind. I was gonna say it's my favorite song out of all 4 solo albums, but I don't know if I can say that. It's one of my favorites, and it is off of Ace's album, and it is New York Groove.
Awesome. My number one is and these are in no particular order. My number one is Radioactive. It is actually in the movie. It is when Gene gets in the fight with the security guards, and that's perfect. I mean, there is no other song you could put there off of the solo albums. So for me, I would keep Radioactive in as a soundtrack song.
Mm-hmm. My number 2 is also off of Gene's album. I will say this, Gene and Ace's albums are very well featured in my list. Those are my 2 favorite solo albums, so I kind of drew upon those more than Peter and Paul's. And this is, I'll probably say this is my favorite song off of Gene's album. I really love this song, and I feel like you can put it in so many different scenarios, both in the movie and just in general. I just really like it. And it is Burning Up with Fever.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Yep. For sure. My second track that I would, I don't want to say number 2 or number 3. I'm just saying because these are no in particular order. They're not favorited or anything.
Right.
My second track that I would put on the soundtrack from Paul. I love this song off his album, Wouldn't You Like to Know Me? And I would replace the song Hold Me, Touch Me in the movie when Melissa is searching around for Sam after meeting Kiss after they perform, and Sam's still in the park, and then it goes to Hold Me, Touch Me. I don't know. I know what they're going for there with that little sentiment, but that song though. So a lot of people that are, really love that song in the album, they might be throwing some popcorn at me. Rick might be switching the video off right now. I don't know. But Wouldn't You Like to Know Me is it's maybe a little too high energy for that, but dang it, that's where I would put it.
So yeah, my number 3 actually is the same thing. It's not the same song, but it's the same, like I would replace that song with this one in that scene where she's looking for him. This is by far my favorite song off of Peter's solo album. I will admit I am not a big Peter solo album fan. I absolutely love his album cover. I love that green. It's so striking. Just not a big fan of the album in general. It's a little too AM radio for me. But this song,
it's a little too old for you.
It's just a little, it's just
it's very AM. Yeah.
Very AM. But not only is this my favorite Peter song off the album, it's just I just absolutely love this song. I think it's so pretty. It is Kiss the Girl Goodbye.
Oh yeah. Man, I totally missed that one. You know what? I like yours better, but we're going to keep them both on the soundtrack. But God, I like yours better. That's that fits the feeling of that song.
That scene.
That scene so much better. I like yours better. Okay, but we'll keep both of them.
Yeah.
So my number 3, I am using this song to replace Peter's "Hooked on Rock and Roll" during the stage fight scene with Robo Kiss. it's like they're fighting Robo Kiss and they're playing Hooked on Rock and Roll.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make no sense. So to me, I need a little spaceman on my soundtrack. So while they're ripping them up, I would be playing Rip It Out.
Mm.
That just such high energy during all that fighting,
Yeah.
rather than that AM Hooked on Rock and Roll, then all the saxophones and the doo-wopping, and it's like,
Yeah.
nah, that ain't what you fight to. You fight to rip it out or something
Yeah.
like that.
That's good. That's
So,
really, really good.
yep.
My next one is by far going to be my most controversial pick. I think for both of us. I think in this video it's going to be very controversial. I know so many people do not like this song. I know so many people have opinions about this song. I love it. I think it's wonderful, and I'll explain why as soon as I say what it is. As soon as I say whose solo album it is, I think you're gonna know. Off of Gene's album, When You Wish Upon a Star. So many people hate this song, and I think it was perfect for Gene's album. I think when you pair Gene, like that cover of the blood dripping, and then you hear that song, like imagine being in a dark room and all of a sudden the demons walking towards you slowly singing that song. That would be terrifying.
Yeah.
So I think it fits, and I think it's this, Phantom kind of in and of itself is this kind of not a fairy tale, but it's very whimsical in a way, and it's I don't know. There's just something about it that I really enjoy. And then I think just if you know Gene and if you know his family history with his mom and coming to America and that he did that song for her, makes me love it even more. And the way he sounds on that song, the notes, he sings so beautifully on that song, and you wouldn't think Gene could sing like that. But I just think somewhere in the movie it would be really good. Maybe when Devereaux's at his craziest. I don't know, but that would be kind of neat. So there you go.
Yeah. Could you imagine Gene's album starts with a demonic laughter, and going into radioactive, and then ends with a whimsical song. But just think about this. Like you said, it's a dark room. You see a shadow moving in the corner. The music of When You Wish Upon a Star begins to play, but in a minor key rather than in a major key. And the demon comes walking towards you, blood running down his chin, his neck, his chest, and starts singing, When You Wish Upon a Star. You'd jump out of your skin.
Yeah. Yeah.
You really would.
So to me, it fits perfectly, I love it.
Yeah, and it could be when Devereaux's having his crack.
Yeah.
So my number 4 is, and this is kind of funny. This I love this song. It's off Paul's album. It's called "It's All Right." And where I would put it is right after what's his face, the park owner, can't remember his name, has the conversation with Devereaux about how he's going to fire him.
Yeah.
And Devereaux has that little thing, and he almost faints, and he comes just kind of walking off. I think it'd be hilarious that the song that's playing during that all time is "It's All Right," because he's like, "It's all right. I'm about to burn this bitch to the ground."
Right.
It's all right. It's all,
Yeah.
you'll see. You'll see.
Yeah.
But because I'm pretty good at taking care of myself. So Devereaux already knew what his plans was. He was already, he's going to burn that place to the ground, whether he got fired or not. So, so that's my number 4.
Awesome. My number 5 is it's just one of my favorite Ace songs. And I don't really care where in the movie it could go. It could go in the end credits. It could go in the beginning. It could just be background music while they have B-roll of people on roller coasters. Doesn't matter. It's just a fantastic song that I think they should just put in the movie just to put in the movie. And it is Ozone.
Yes.
I don't know what Ozone is. I know what the song's about, but I don't know if it's like lingo or if it's an actual drug. Like, I'm not sure. I'm not in that world, but doesn't matter. It's a great song.
Well, he's the kind of guy that likes getting high, so he goes into the ozone. Yeah. That's one of my favorite songs off his album as well. My number 5 is by Gene, and it would replace Almost Human because I didn't want any non-solo songs on there. And this is used during the scene with the security officers are gassed. This is a scene it's only in the European version
Right.
where they're in their trailer, they get gassed, and the two guys come in and get them. So, but I would put Living in Sin there just
Mm.
because of the vibe that Living in Sin has.
Hmm.
And I would put it there just to replace Almost Human.
I like that. I like that a
Almost
lot.
Human is a great song that fits. Almost Human could actually have been used during the fight scene where Radioactive was.
Oh yeah, that's a
But
good one.
yeah,
Yeah,
but I wanted to keep everything just strictly off of solo albums.
yeah, I agree. Speaking of Radioactive, um, that's actually my number 6. I love that song. The opening, like how you said earlier, the way it
Mhm,
starts out, that could have fit multiple places in the film. I feel like
mhm,
depending on like what part of the song they wanted to use, they
mhm,
could have used it multiple places in the film. And just a great demon song. I
mhm.
mean, it's a lot of people criticize Gene's album because they don't think it's demony. It's not. There's not enough demon. But I think that's a great example of perfect amount of demon in that song. So yeah, my number 6 is Radioactive.
All right, so my number 6, um, this is by Ace, and it is in the movie, and I would keep it in the movie. This is used during the monkey fight scene where the monkeys are coming down off the big
Hmm.
roller coaster, and it's New York Groove.
Yep.
So you gotta have New York Groove. So I would keep New York Groove in the movie. I mean, it was a hit, so keep it in the movie. It would have been a hit still,
Yeah.
and so I would have kept that in there.
Yeah. Same here. And well, I did. I put it at number 1.
Yeah.
um, yeah, my number 7. This is off of Paul's album, and like Peter's album for me, Paul's album just it is. I don't know. There's something about Paul's album that just does not click with me as much as Ace and Jeans. Love the artwork, of course, but I don't know. Paul's album, something about it. It's very Paul, and it wasn't surprising to me. It's I hear it, and I hear a lot of Paul and Paul Kiss songs in it. Just I don't know. We just don't connect. But I do love this song off of that album, and I would keep it in the movie, and it is Love in Chains.
Good song. Good song. Paul's album, I find for me, and I'd like to see what people in the comments think, but Paul's album for me is a nighttime album. And
Yes.
it is a late summer nighttime album when the days, once the sun goes down, it
Yes.
starts really cooling off. And it's that in that moments after the sun has gone down and you actually feel the air changing from warm to cold. That is a Paul. That's the time to listen to Paul's album
Yes. I
because
completely agree.
it's a nighttime album.
Yes.
It's probably the most nighttime album out of all four of them.
Yes.
Uh,
Peters
so
is a spring album. Peters is a like April showers
yeah,
spring
yeah,
album.
yeah.
Yeah.
And Jeans has a tendency to feel more like a fall album to
Yep.
me. And Ace's album is pure summer.
Yep.
It is pure summer. So
Yep.
it's like they almost represent all four of the seasons.
Hmm.
All right. So my next one is a Paul song. I would use it to replace the song "That's the Kind of Sugar Papa Likes" from the ninja fight scene. You're fighting ninjas and you're singing about sugar that Papa likes.
Right.
So I wouldn't have used the part of the song that starts off slow. I would have used the part that starts off once it's kicked in. I'd use "Tonight You Belong to Me," but
Ooh.
have it where it actually has kicked in and is going. Because once it gets going, it's just Paul's vocals is soaring, and it's just got that real big build to it. So yeah, so I think during the ninja fight scene they needed a little more energy rather than some AM boogie.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I really agree. My number 8, you could put this really anywhere in the film. To me, I almost like you could almost use it as a sound effect, this song. There's a part in the song, like kind of throughout the song where it goes like wah wah wah. You could almost use that as like a sound effect for something. And that would be kind of cool that the sound effect was a song, or a part of the song. It'd be a nice little, like, I don't know if like a lot of people would get that right away, so it'd almost be a fun Easter egg. But my number 8 off of Ace's album is "I'm in Need of Love."
Oh yeah, yeah, that's really good. My number 8 is a Gene song, and I would use it to replace a Gene song in the movie. Right after Abner gets fired, and he just kind of goes walking off into nowhere,
Hmm.
just walking across the parking lot with a blank stare on his face. I would have replaced Mr. Make Believe with Burning Up with Fever.
Mm,
And I don't know if I'd have done it from the very beginning. Some of these, if you listen to the movie, they don't come in at the very beginning,
right.
and they come in at different parts of it. So I would have probably picked up Burning Up with Fever once it gets going.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think at that point in time he was burning up with fever, and it's something that he couldn't hide. So I would definitely would have stuck that in there.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, wow, we have a good amount of similar songs. Very good. My number 9, this song is fantastic, and I just think that it's a kind of spooky song. Like When You Wish Upon a Star, this could be kind of an upbeat song. This could kind of be a terrifying song, just in the context. So they could put it in different parts of the film, and it would maybe have a different meaning. Um, my number 9, off of Gene's album, is "See You in Your Dreams."
Yeah,
This would be kind of a Freddy Krueger
yeah,
feel to it. So, like I said, you could use it during a kind of a terrifying scene, or just whenever.
yeah, definitely. I can see that. My number 9 is an Ace song. I'm replacing the Ace song with it. There, when Sam gets captured, when he's walking around and he's exploring Abner's Devereaux's workshop, and he ends up getting captured. They're playing Fractured Mirror, and I think just because the way he's just aimlessly wandering around and acting like he's never been in this place, except he's supposedly Devereaux's assistant. So if he's Devereaux's assistant, why is he acting like? Yeah, it's kind of one of those things. It's like, okay, it doesn't really make sense. But I thought, well, maybe he's a little snowblind, and
Mm.
he doesn't really exactly know what's going on. So I would have put snowblind in place of the instrumental Fractured Mirror.
So for my number 10, actually the opposite of what you just said. I actually did have Snowblind for my number 10. And at the last minute, I was like, you know what? I think it's good the way it is. And I left Fractured Mirror in. So that is my number 10 off of Ace's album. I think it's good to have an instrumental in this film at some
Yeah.
point. I agree. Maybe it didn't have to be that scene, but I think just having an instrumental is good. And I just really appreciate the song in general because, of course, we have Fractured Mirror. And then when Ace started his solo career, he had Fractured Mirror 2 and then Fractured Mirror 3. So I love that this is kind of the foundation of that. And I just really like it. I just think it's really cool. And like I said, you could kind of just put it anywhere in the movie because there's different parts of it. It sounds different at 30 seconds versus a minute and 30. So you could kind of mix around with it a little bit. So that's my number 10, Fractured Mirror.
And plus, I didn't even think about that. You would want that instrumental because that instrumental launched a string of instrumentals that he would have. So I'm glad that you kept it. My number 10, I'm actually replacing when Melissa is really upset because she saw Sam and he acted like he didn't even know who she was, and then she's there at the mansion and Paul's playing the guitar and Sam's wandering around inside trying to get the talisman, and they're playing Beth and singing Beth. I just always kind of felt that was just kind of like oh, hey, don't forget we had to hit with Beth, they were trying to, and it's like, well, let's put, if you're going to have Peter sing something there and it's still sad, why don't we put in I Can't Stop the Rain? We got to have one of the best songs off of Peter's solo album on our playlist, on our soundtrack. So yeah, so He could have been sitting there playing "I Can't Stop the Rain." It actually starts off with a little bit of piano, but also you could do some acoustic guitar in there too. So,
Yeah.
so my number 10 is "I Can't Stop the Rain." All right, and so that's all the lists, except what I would have done is after we completed our list, at the very bottom, I would have put a bonus track, and I would have put the actual recorded version of "Rip and Destroy."
Yeah.
You got to have "Rip and Destroy" on
Yes.
here, uh, even though it's not on the solo albums. Um, and I put here, I tried to go through and replace every song. Um, and I originally thought that there were 10, and we picked 10. And if anybody's paying attention, they can actually notice that I missed replacing the music in one of the scenes that has a song from the solo albums, but I didn't replace it. I didn't even mention it. And I was going to leave it as a, hey, put it down in the comments, but I figure I'm just going to go ahead and tell it because I don't want to do that to anybody. I mostly want them commenting uh what songs they would have put on the soundtrack. If they could have, off of the solo albums, what songs would they put on the soundtrack?
Mhm.
But the song that I missed replacing "Love and Chains" from Paul's, which you got "Love and Chains,"
Yep.
so it's on there anyway.
Mhm.
But I missed replacing "Love and Chains" from the Chamber of Horrors fight scene when Kiss is fighting the Chamber of Horrors animatronics. "Love and Chains" is playing during that time. So that's it. That's our soundtrack. So what did we double up on? Anything?
Yeah, we had 3. We had New York Groove, Burning Up with Fever, and Radioactive.
Okay, cool. All right. So we will by the time you see this video, by the time this video is out, there will be a Spotify playlist that is down in the description, and you can also add a song that you think should be on the playlist as well. If you think it has context, if you say, instead of saying, "Oh, I'd add this song," give us a little bit of context. Where would you add it at? What part of the movie would you put it at? Because it needs to have a part. Um, Even if it's a part that we've already named, you can see like, "Oh, well, I'd put this there." So, and we'll consider adding it to the playlist, kind of like we did with the summer playlist. It can be an interactive playlist. So, what'd you think about that? Was that a fun time?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I anytime I get to talk about the solo albums is a good time. I love the solo albums, and it's a really fun history behind the solo albums, and yeah.
Yeah, the whole thing about the solo albums and the whole thing that was going on with Phantom and how that was all going on at the same time. That's how I'm saying that the solo albums very well could have been, instead of them focusing on getting away from each other and making albums, which they were trying. We know why they were trying to do that. They were trying to do that to appease Ace, because Ace felt like he was being held back by Gene and Paul's ultimate decisions on things, and Peter had been yelling for more track time since the very first album.
Yeah.
I really think it's funny that, here's the thing that blows my mind: Peter had been yelling for a song with a drum solo in it since he had been in the band, and then he finally gets his album, a solo album, and doesn't put a drum solo in it.
Yeah.
And I think it's because he had drum solos on Alive and Alive 2, maybe. Maybe that's why he didn't do it. Because if I put myself in his shoes, I probably wouldn't want a drum solo either. I'd already did a couple drum solos on live albums, which, you know, I'm a drummer and I'm not a big fan of drum solos. I can't listen to a drum solo for too long. I get bored. I'd rather play a drum solo. Well, I don't really like playing drum solos. I like playing grooves and licks and rhythms. But that's all I've got for this one. Carly, you got anything to add?
No, just if you can get your hands on Phantom in the Park, watch it. If you haven't watched it yet, do it. Just don't expect it to be the greatest film you've ever seen, but just expect to go into it having fun and just seeing Kiss in a whole new way. And yeah, I mean, yeah.
If you have never seen Phantom of the Park or the Attack of the Phantoms, all you gotta do is Google search it. You can watch if you just Google Kiss meets Phantom of the Park. There's a place on. There's a link comes up that goes to a Facebook page, and you can watch them both on archive.org. That's where I watched Attack of the Phantoms today.
Mhm.
Watch them for free,
Yeah.
and pretty good quality, especially Attack of the Phantoms, since it was the video quality on it is so much better since it wasn't shown on TV and it's like that widescreen theater aspect. I still wish that Kiss would do something, and I know Kiss can't do anything now because Kiss isn't Kiss anymore. But I wish somehow that Pop House would acquire the rights to Kiss Meets the Phantom and all the footage and everything and do like a deluxe box set Blu-ray
Yeah.
of Phantoms with all the deleted scenes, bloopers, just everything. Get Gene and Paul, and you could ask Ace and Peter if they
That
would do
won't
it, but
happen, but yeah.
get them to do
Yeah.
commentary or get people to do commentary.
Yeah.
We would love that. As fans, we would love to have something that takes both versions of the movie and mixes them together
Yes.
and makes that, because there's stuff that's in Attack of the Phantoms that's not in Kiss Meets Phantom of the Park.
Right.
And then there's lines that Ace has that is in Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park that's not in Attack of the Phantom. So they both are not 100%. So it'd be nice to have something that is everything, that includes every single scene
Yes.
of
I
the
agree.
movie.
And I think, Gene and Paul, they really try to shy away from Kiss low points. Phantom, Elder, they really kind of try to shy away from those and act like
Carnival.
they don't exist. And I don't think they realize that fans like those so much more than they think they do.
Mhm.
And there is so much potential to do something with both of those things. And I think that doing something with Phantom, they would get a lot more positive feedback than they think they would. And I just wish that, something could be done.
Totally. I totally do too. I hate that, especially Phantom and the Elder. But even more to me, it's like, okay, I know that they like to pretend Carnival don't exist. Okay, I get it. That's fine. If you don't want to, that's great.
Yeah.
They like to pretend that the Elder don't exist. And that pains me a little bit. But what pains me the most is that they act like Phantom don't exist. And Phantom, they don't understand how much of a core memory and even a celebrated memory of people who weren't alive whenever those originally came out, or weren't Kiss fans when it originally came out, how much we love that movie.
Right.
And we love it for everything that it is, the bad acting, the cheesiness, the plot holes, the bad script. We love it for everything that it is.
Mm-hmm.
And
it isn't everything that it isn't.
Everything that it is and everything that it isn't. We love it.
Yeah.
So I just wish that they would acknowledge it, or that Pop House would acquire the rights to it and do something with it and sell it. So
yes.
Anyway, that's all we got for this one. Thank you to everybody who's watching. Be sure to interact down in the comments. Be sure to hit the like, subscribe button if you haven't already. And we will see you in the next one. That's all I've got for this one. So for me and Carla, we say thanks, and we will see you in the next one.
Bye.
I would like for us to go back and do a deeper solo album discussion, not really so much discussing the songs, but discussing the 4 solo albums as is and just making mental comparisons about them or verbal comparisons about them. But I don't understand it really to this day. I don't understand why people I can get people being surprised by Peter's album because with Peter, people were used to hearing Black Diamond,
Yeah.
Baby Driver, Hooligan, Nothing to Lose. They were used to hearing all these songs, and Peter's album was not really any of that. But now Gene's album is more like what he was doing on albums leading up to. I mean, there's songs on Detroit. There's songs that Gene did on Destroyer that could have easily you could have put Great Expectations on Gene's solo album, and you could have took a song or a few songs off of Gene's solo album and put them on Destroyer
Yeah.
or put them on Rock and Roll Over because he actually took a song from Rock and Roll Over, See in Your Dreams, and put it on his album. So
Right.
I don't understand why people got so bent about Gene's album because it's not really. People's like, oh, it's a demon album. It's not a demon album. It's not a demon album. Not every song. Christine 16 is not a demon song. Got Love for Sale's not a demon song. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
like everybody expected this demon. Oh, they expected an album of God of Thunders and Almost Humans,
Yeah.
and you weren't going to get that. Look at what he was doing before that. You were not going to get that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just I think Gene's album gets a lot of hate that it really doesn't deserve.
I
I can understand people hating on Peter's, but I love Peter's album. I like all four of the solo albums, but